Hey everybody, welcome back. This is your boy Big James, the Big Eyed himself. And this is going to be another review of Married at First Sight, Season 13, Episode 9. The title of this episode is Could This Be Love? This episode is better. It's pretty good. You can kind of see how everything's falling and where people are ending up. And it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for anybody. So let's get started with our first couple. I'm going to do couple by couple, not scene by scene. That's just easier for me because some of these couples, there's nothing to even talk about. Which is our first couple, Brett and Ryan. They have nothing going on except Ryan doesn't like her. And I feel bad for Brett because Brett is falling more and more in love with Ryan. Like she's getting a lot of strong feelings for him. And she is just looking at him with these puppy dog eyes. She likes, his personality. She likes his body. She likes his looks. And Ryan doesn't like anything about Brett. Nothing at all. He doesn't like how she looks. He hates her hair. I think from the moment he saw that she had red hair and that it was dyed, like she's a natural redhead, but she dyed her hair a brighter red. I think from that moment he just didn't like her. And it threw every he doesn't like her personality, her attitude, and she doesn't have a bad attitude. He just doesn't like it. I think he prefers blondes and like airheads. And she's a special education teacher, and she's redhead. She's very liberal. She's very open, and he's more conservative, more reserved. She's a city person, he's a country guy, and they just clash in a lot of areas. And she doesn't mind it. She likes that he's so different and that he's lived a different life than she has. She likes it. It's adventurous to her. It's wonderful. But to him, it's just annoying. He just doesn't like her. And he's telling her, I don't feel anything. I don't have any feelings. And she knows, she's aware of it. She just wants to figure it out. In this episode, they start out playing games to try and closer to each other. They play Jenga, and for every block he places right, I'm trying to remember correctly, he has to read a card of something that she likes about him, and it was a stack of cards. And on each card was one thing she liked about him. Even he was like, good God, but he can't fill out one card. And the experts ask them get them questions to ask each other. Have you been in love before? And Brett says, she's certain she's been in love twice before. And Ryan says he doesn't know if he's been in love before. He thinks he has. And they was like, how do you think you've been in love before? And he says, well, because the other person felt love, but he didn't. And then once that person left, he was like, you know what? I did love her. It took him. He didn't feel it till after the relationship was over. He was like, wait, I was in love with her. I didn't even realize it. And that's making Brett feel some kind of way. She doesn't know what to do. She's like, okay, that's odd. Even he says, like, that's odd. Because he says himself, like earlier, he said he either falls in love immediately or it takes forever to fall in love. Me personally, I fall in love immediately. I fall in love quick. And I know that, and I'm cautious of that. It makes me second guess myself on a lot of things. And that's probably what's going on with Ryan. If he falls in love so fast that he starts to second guess himself, maybe he's being irrational, maybe it's not what he thinks it is. And too late does he realize that it actually was love. That's it. I can't think of nothing else with them. They didn't really do much of anything. They went to Jose had a barbecue at his house. And I think Brett told all the other girls that, she doesn't feel like Ryan has any feelings for a lover. And they know nobody had anything to offer her. Because what do you say to that? Like, he don't like you. He don't. That sucks. Oh, my light went out. That sucks. Our next couple is Myrla and Gil. I like Myrla and Gil. I didn't at first, but I do now. It's like merely I'm warming up to her. I still think she's I don't know what she's doing. Nobody knows what she's doing except her. And Gil, I think Gil is getting to the point now where he's getting sick of it. Like, cause she's doing something, she's playing some game that only she knows the rules and only she knows what's going on. And her husband Gil is like, this is getting old and annoying. That you won't even tell me anything, and that she doesn't like anything he does. Rachel comes over, so you see Mira talking to Rachel, and Rachel sees that she has a workout ring on. And she was like, "Oh, what's up with that?" And she said, "Well, you know, Gil got it for me because I be working out in the gym, and you can't work out with like a diamond ring on. You know, it can get snagged or hit something. So there's these little plastic rings that you can put on that show you're married, but they're not going to get like caught in the equipment or break or anything like that." And Rachel was like, "That's sweet," and Mary was like, "No, it's not." She was like, "Yes, it is. It's very romantic." She's like, "No, it's not. He bought you a ring, gave you a ring." And she's like, "It's a little piece of plastic. It's nothing." It was the gesture. He saw that you go working out and that you were worried about damaging your ring. Oh, that's my fucking phone. Excuse me. And I'm back. Sorry about that. Mirla, she just didn't appreciate it. Like, it was the gesture. It was, he thought of you and that you go working out because he works out. And he's like, oh, she's going to need something to put on her finger to show she's married, but because she can't wear a wedding ring. But she was just like, well, it's just a piece of plastic. It's nothing, no big deal. I'm like, he ordered it off of Amazon. And it was like, come on, girl. Nothing he does, she likes. Or she does like it, but she doesn't want people to know she likes it. That's the thing with her that annoys me. Is it seems like she really likes what he does and how he acts and how he treats her. But she doesn't want him to know that. Because she's like, I don't want him to know that I actually like him. I don't want him to know that I appreciate what he does. I don't want him to have any thoughts about how I feel. She wants to keep her feelings completely in the dark. Nobody knows anything. Nobody knows what's going through her head, what she's thinking, and what she's feeling. And that can get annoying. They get the questions from the expert about have you been in love before. She says yes. He says yes. You know, they've both been in love before. I can't remember what he said. But with him, I feel like he doesn't stick around. It's something. Oh, I can't remember what he said. I didn't write it down, but they have both been in love before. Later on, he offers to give her a foot rub. Now, he messed up by hyping up his foot rub. He did mess up by doing that. He was like, "Oh, it's gonna be the most amazing thing you ever saw," and she didn't really want a foot rub, but she said, "Okay, go ahead and do it." And it didn't look like a good foot rub. It looked like it was just a bunch of squeezing, and she was laughing at it. And he was trying to be romantic and sweet, but she was like, I really didn't want that. She wanted to go sit on the balcony and watch the sunset. And he was like, no, I didn't want to do that. So that was a gesture by her that she wanted and he didn't do. But he had this gesture that to show his affection by rubbing her feet, and she didn't want to do that. But she did it anyway. Even though she didn't want to do it, she did it anyway, and he should have been more appreciative of that. And he should have done what she wanted to do if she did what you wanted to do. And she was like, you know, foot rubs is fine when she said it. She's like, foot rubs are good when my foot hurts or when I've been working or I've been doing something, my feet ache. Yeah, but she was like, my feet were fine. There was nothing going on. There was no purpose behind the foot rub. Except maybe he wanted something from her. And that's why she wasn't real. Like, she gave it like a 5 out of 10 or something like that on the scale. Which is what the thing was. She was like, yeah, but I just didn't want it. And he didn't pick up that she didn't want a foot rub. She wanted to go sit out on the balcony. So that's on Gil there, because he just ignored what she actually wanted and just did what he wanted to do. They go to brunch, and she's like, oh, I saw this place on Instagram. I really wanted to come here because they had a drink, a Chanel No. 6 drink, and she wanted it. She wanted to take pictures with it, post it on Instagram. So she was sitting there with her drink, and her food, and she was posing. She had him taking pictures of her to put on Instagram. And he was like, well, why did you come here? And she's like, well, I came here just for this drink. She's like, I've been here before, but because I saw it on Instagram, and I was like, oh, I want to go there and get that drink. So she went there. That was the only reason she came there. And he was like, well, did you think I would like it? And she was like, no. She was like, well, it didn't cross my mind. I just knew I wanted to go there. And he asked, well, what are you thinking? Like, he was basically asking, what does she think of him? And does she think of him? And she was like, I figured you'd be a good brunch husband. And that triggered Gil. He was like, a brunch husband? She was like, yeah, somebody I can go to brunch with. And I'm going to have to give it up for Gil. He was over, well, no, because he asked her how often does she go to brunch. And she said, I go to brunch once a week, every Saturday. And she goes out to eat. She eats out twice a month. She has that scheduled and planned. I go to brunch every Saturday, and I eat out twice a month on weekends. And Gil said, well, that's too much. And I was like, that's nothing. If she, like, that's nothing. Like, Gil was, he's out of his fucking mind. Going to brunch once on a Saturday, that's nothing. Going out twice a month, that's nothing. Depending on where she wants to go, I guess, maybe. Because this was an expensive restaurant. So if she's doing that every weekend, I could see, but she can afford it because she has a great job. If she's going to like other expensive restaurants, that's great because she can afford it when she was single. She probably, I don't know if she can afford it now because he can't afford it. That's basically what it came down to. He was like, I can't afford to come to places like this all the time. They were in some high-end at restaurant, because he's a firefighter. He's a public servant. He doesn't get that much money. He told her, he's like, I don't chase money. I'm trying to be the best person I can be to help people. I want to give back to society. And she's like, I'm trying to acquire as much wealth as I can. So their philosophies in life, where he's more of a servant and she's more of an acquirer, they're going to always clash. They have to find middle ground, but neither one of them really want to move from where they're at. And his money that he does make, he sends back home to his mother in Colombia to take care of her. So he's, not only is he not making that much, the majority of what he's making, he's sending to take care of his mom. He's take care of his mother with. So he basically is saying, like, I can't do this all the time. But she's not asking him to. She's like, I can cover it. That probably hurts his manhood a little bit, but she's not asking him to pay for it. She doesn't really like that she doesn't like that he's taking care of his mother. She doesn't like that she likes that he's a firefighter, but she doesn't like that he doesn't make that much money. And the money he does make, he's getting rid of. Anyway, I'm off the topic. He said, I like to eat at home. But in Myrtle's defense, she's like, I cook 3 times a day, every day, except when I go to brunch and except when I go out twice a month. Every other day, I'm cooking. I can take a break from cooking. She absolutely can. In fact, his ass can cook. Since he loves cooking so goddamn much, he can cook more often. But he was right in saying that, do you want a husband? Like, do you only want a husband to say you have a husband? Do you just want a brunch husband? Do you just want somebody that you can look good with? Like, do you just want like a human handbag that you're just walking around with? He's like, do you want me? Or could it be any silhouette over here? But long as you can say, I have a husband. And she couldn't answer that. Because she does just want a husband. Who that is doesn't matter. As long as it's someone that looks good and can go places with her. Because when she said at the beginning, like, I just don't want to go do stuff alone. So she wants a handsome man that is intelligent and that, people like, that she can go places with and be like, this is my husband. And then once they leave, just put him in the closet with her purses and shoes. And that's basically how she feels. And that's how she's treating him. And he's like, that's not good enough for me. I'm not just an accessory, which is all she really wanted. She should have just got a dog, but she doesn't like dogs. She thought she didn't like dogs because now she got with him and he has a dog and she's actually getting along very well with Hype. Again, worst named dog ever. His name is Hype and he's the laziest, most lay around ass dog I've ever seen. He doesn't do anything. I don't know why he's called Hype. But Gil was right and Mirla is right. You have two people who are both right. This is how she wants to live. She can afford it. She wants to do it. And he is right in saying that I don't want to just be an accessory. You know, I want to be in a marriage with somebody that wants me. And I don't feel like you want me. You just want a husband. You just want to be married. You don't want to be married to me specifically. You don't want me at all. You just want to say I have a husband. And Mirla, she didn't deny it. It didn't matter who was sitting there. I can just say I have a husband. Oh, ain't he handsome? Take pictures of me. And Gil has the right to not be satisfied with that. Our next couple is Michaela and Zach. They're a shit show. They're done. This can only get worse with those two. She told him, you know, they had the big argument where he left. He didn't want to stay in the apartment. And he got a text from her from a different number because he tried to call her. And she didn't answer, but she texted from a different phone number saying, okay, don't call me anymore. Only text me at this number. Not my other number. At this number. Text me. Don't ever call me again. That sounded like she broke up with him. She like, don't ever call me no more. Only text me at a different phone number than the one you have. So she then went and got a burner phone for her husband to text her on. And he used a bee analogy that I didn't get. I kind of got, but I didn't get. Where, you know, the bee keeps stinging him. He's trying to read a book on Married at First Sight. And he keeps getting stung by a bee. And he's like, you know, the first time he was like, you know, it's just a bee, it'll go away. Second time, like, wait, what's going on with these bees? Third time, like, all right, I gotta leave because the bees keep stinging me, so I can't stay here. And she was the bee. I get it, you know, it was a rough analogy, but I get it. She didn't get it at all. He was like, she was like, you know, we keep having these arguments, these fights, you keep exploding. Because it's not argument, she is exploding. And then would turn around like nothing ever happened. Which is literally scaring the shit out of him. That she can do that so easily. And she was like, okay, what are you doing to piss the bees off? She's like, if I'm the bee, you keep pissing me off to make me sting you. That wasn't a lesson. Because all he's doing is reading a book. Zach isn't doing anything. And whatever it is he's doing, no matter how small or minor it is, you're stinging him. You're exploding. That's the issue. Not what he's doing, it's how you're responding. And you're responding way out of pocket. That was the fucking issue. And she didn't get that. She didn't get that at all. She swears he's doing something. And from what we're watching, he's not doing anything. He is just trying to make it from one day to the fucking next. Without her fucking just screaming and going off. That man is in complete survival mode. But they keep saying they want to work it out. They want to get back to where they were before. And where they were before was just fucking. It was just lust. They were just all up in each other. And so they're trying to get back to that. But that is past. Because then y'all had just met, just been tired of each other, you know, y'all looking at each other with these hard eyes, and y'all just getting it in. Now, you have to really work on it, and he has a legit problem with her. That's the crazy part. She doesn't mind him at all. She likes him. She really has feelings for him. He is terrified. That's the feeling he has of her, because she just starts screaming and yelling over anything. And I think the editing is fucked because he said that they've had 3 arguments. We've seen what, one? He said you've blown up every day in the past 72 hours, and they haven't showed us but one. He is not staying with her. He is leaving because he doesn't want to be there because he doesn't know what's going to happen. But she is like, he's great. He's wonderful. Oh, all this great stuff about him. And he is like, this bitch crazy. He looking over his shoulders like, what the hell, you know? So that gives me more reason to be like, I don't think he's doing it. She says he's making her explode. That's what she says. But what he's doing is basically just like, are you okay? And she just goes off. And it always, in the whole, I don't want you to call me no more. Oh no, they only talk on camera. Off camera, they don't talk. I wouldn't trust her either. If I'm him. They asked, have you ever been in love before? Neither one of them have ever been in love before. That was crazy. He said he's never been in love before. And she was like, I've never been in love before either. She said, you know, she'll meet a guy. And she said they will always move away before she falls in love with them. They will always leave the state. The guy she dated. She was like, and they would just move away. They would just, you know, be gone. And Zach was like, what? But for him, he was like, you know, if I didn't feel anything, like we had a future or any potential, then he said, I would just break up. Makes sense to me. He has a list of the things he wants in a woman. I wrote it down. He likes looks, ambitious, intelligent, adaptable, trust, honest, loyal, mature. That is the most basic ass shit you could ask for. But nothing he said was out of line, crazy. It was just like, be a good person. That's basically what his whole list was. Like, I want a woman that's just a good person. You know? That's honest. Who doesn't want somebody that's honest? Loyal? Yeah, of course. Intelligent? Yeah. That's nothing he said was crazy. It was like, it was the most basic ass list. I don't know why he thought it was some big deal. Like, this is my list. It was just okay. Alive. You didn't put alive on there? Shit. And what's for fucked up was Michaela was like, I can't do that. I don't know if I can be all that. I'm like, what? Shit. This is the most basic shit. This is just like, ambitious? Sure. That's nothing. Intelligent? Okay. Trustworthy? Yeah, okay. Of course you want to trust somebody. She is basically saying, yeah, I can't do all this. I can do maybe 1 or 2. Like, what the fuck? You can't be mature? You can't be loyal? If you can be mature and loyal, I mean, none of the other shit, you can't be honest, trustworthy? What the fuck? You should be able to be all of this. Because it's not difficult. It's not a goddamn building a bridge. It's not going to the moon. How can you only do 1 or 2? Holy shit. Oh my goodness. I'm thinking he's an idiot for having this list of what he's looking for in a woman. And then this woman like, I can't even do this. Where do they find these people at? I'm thinking it's too damn basic. And she's like, this is too complicated. Anyway, they go, next scene is them in the apartment. And Zach like, hey, I have a surprise. You know, we wanted to cook. So we wanted to cook, they want to cook shrimp scampi. They had a chef. They had, I mean, not a, I don't know what that wasn't the word I just said. They had a chef that they Zoom called with who want to teach them how to cook shrimp scampi. Lo and behold, neither one of them know how to cook anything. They've never cooked before. They shouldn't cook anymore. Michaela fucked up boiling water. How you do that? And she didn't fuck it up the way other people fuck it up. He said, put water in the pot to boil. She filled the pot completely up with water. And Zach was like, I think that's too much. And the chef was like, yeah, about half a pot. Now put it on the eye, let it get to boiling. And now you can do all the prep. They're doing the prep stuff, and chef like, that water should be boiling by now. And Michaela's like, it's not boiling. Like, how do you fuck up boiling water? Not to the point, I've seen people boil water and they forget about it, and all the water boils out, they burn the pot up. She boiled water and the water never fucking boiled. She fucked it up. I'm like, even if you had the fire low, eventually it will boil. It'll get hot sooner or later. How the fuck it don't get hot? What did you do? How do you do this? They should have threw her ass out the kitchen. It was like seasoning the shrimp. She just dumped the fucking seasoning in the goddamn shrimp. Zach was like, Jesus, you heavy-handed with the seasoning. He couldn't eat it. She was like, well, it's fine, it's fine. No, it was killing her. But she didn't want to admit she fucked it up. So she sat there and choked that shit down. Oh my goodness. They not gonna make it out. If they don't kill each other, it'll be amazing. That'll be a success story of this season. Because he's terrified and she's just oblivious. And I don't know what the hell's going on with those two. But it ain't gonna work. Next couple, Bao and Johnny. No, they're not gonna work either. Bao is trying so hard. They have dinner and she cooks for him. I forgot what she cooked. It was something Asian. I can't think of the name of it. But she said, I want to show him I know how to cook. You know, that I can do these things. They don't want to eat out. And she cooks and Johnny like, it's good. And they're talking and she was like, you know, she doesn't like some of the things he does, the way he treats her. And then he said he had the nerve to say he feels like she's judging him. And I was like, Johnny, all you do is judge Bao on everything. But he couldn't stand it when she said something. When she said one thing about him, about how she told him about how he's always judging her and always threatening her with the whole, you know, I'd be out. If we were just dating and not married, I'd be out. I'd be gone. He says that every day. And he's like, well, I'm just telling you the truth. She's like, don't. Even if it's true, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear how you don't want to be with me and how you want to be gone. I don't want to hear that every day. And he's, oh, I'm just being honest. I'm just telling you the truth. Keep it to your fucking self. And that's good on her because she didn't back down. Because he does that all the time. He tried to just wield the, oh, I'll leave you as a weapon. And she was like, you know what? You can just shut the fuck up. Yeah. And he gets very defensive, very offended that she's standing up for herself against him. And the stuff he does and says to her. You know, of course. I'm surprised that didn't turn bigger than it did because he couldn't make it a big deal because she was right. And he knew she was right. Because he does just constantly do that all the time. Under the veil of, I'm just being honest, he just insults her and belittles her and talks down to her under the guise of, oh, I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. I'm just communicating, telling you how I feel. And she was like, don't. Just keep it to yourself. They get the question from the experts, you know, have you ever been in love before? It's a bunch of questions. It's not just that one question. It's a bunch of them, but they're all stupid. And she says yes, and he says yes. You know, and she asked him, you know, he says yes, but he doesn't know because he has a weird view on love because how he learned sex. He said his parents never talked about it, and it's what I said earlier. He said he learned about sex not from school, but from watching hentai. Hentai It's cartoon porn. I knew what when he said. I was like, oh my god, it's cartoon porn. That's how he learned about sex and relationships, and all this stuff was through cartoon porn. And I had said, I'm like, Johnny sounds like somebody who watches way too much porn. From what he expects from her, and the way he talks to her, and the way he does stuff, it's like he watches too much porn and uses too many dating apps. He has a very unrealistic online expectation out of women and relationships out of everything. It just doesn't seem real. He's upset that she wears clothes and that she's not, naked all the time and trying to jump on him. Or like it baffles him. I would understand if you were just freaky and you wanted that, but you understood, like, okay, I'm a freak and I would like that, but if you're not doing it, that's okay. To him, he's insulted. You don't love me. You're not making my dinner buck naked. It explained a lot about Johnny. And Bao just laughed at him. And I think she understood more. But when he said that, she understood more. That's why you're like this. This is stupid. This is stupid. She's like, it makes sense now. He wants her to crawl and whine and moan and all this shit. And she's like, no. And she just laughing at him. And he was laughing. He was like, yeah, that is kind of stupid. Like, yeah. That evening, what happened? She cooked for him. She had a beer tasting. She made fried chicken. They were going to play darts. And, they had a whole thing that she had a whole evening for him. Because she is trying so hard to make him realize that she is actually a very likable person. And she is. She's adorable. On the darts thing, they have, like, whoever wins gets to decide what we do in the bedroom tonight. Oh, and they had sex the day before. When she was telling him to shut the fuck up, they had sex that night. But they don't want to talk about it. And later on, Johnny plans a date night of painting, because he remembered earlier, before the show, she said, I want to go to the museum, but nobody wants to go with me. And Johnny said, well, I'll go with you. And he never showed. He never followed up. He ghosted her. So he said, I'm going to make up for that. We're going to have a painting date in the house, where he got the canvases, the paintbrush, and all that stuff. They're going to paint. And Johnny got upset because Bao took it serious. She was like, if I'm going to paint, I'm going to paint. So she was painting, and he didn't really want to paint. He just wanted to flirt and mess around with each other and do all that. And he got upset because, Bao was being so serious. But Bao was like, if I'm doing it, I'm doing it. She's not one of the people she's one of those people who take game night very seriously. She took darts very seriously. She takes stuff, if she's doing it, she's doing it 100%. She's not like, no, and that kind of got on Johnny's nerves, but he just got to learn about her. Yeah, that's something you learn about people. Some people take stuff and they just go goof around and play with it, and some people take stuff very seriously. Like, if you're playing card with somebody, some people are just playing card for fun, and some people ain't playing for fun. They're playing to win. Bao was painting to paint. She wasn't painting to goof around. That's not a big deal. It's just something you learn. You probably would learn dating, but because they got married first, they didn't know it. At Jose's barbecue, nothing. I can't think of nothing that happened to them. They would nothing. The barbecue was stupid, a waste of time, really. And that's it for Bao and Johnny. Next is Jose and Rachel. I got nothing on them, really. They went to goat yoga, which looked cute. I don't know what the point of it is. Have you ever been in love before? Rachel said yes. I think Jose said no. They asked, have you ever cheated before? And she said yes, she has cheated before, which upset Jose, because he was like, once a cheater, always a cheater. I used to think that, but now I'm more, as I've gotten older, I'm like, no, it could be situational. It could be just, it's a complicated question. I'm like, I don't believe that like I used to. but I also believe that there is truth to it. That's basically how I feel. Like, I don't believe it's a blanket truth, but there is truth to it. She told him about, he doesn't listen to her. Like, he hears her, he doesn't listen. And he says it. He's like, yeah, I hear you, but I don't be listening. He just talks. And she said, I love that you talk. And he talks a lot. Him and Gil never shut up. He's always talking. And he talks so much that he doesn't hear anything she says. Regardless of what he just doesn't hear it. Because he's talking over her and past her and around her. And she was telling him, like, you have to listen to what I'm saying. You have to listen to what I'm asking you. You have to listen to what I want. And he said, well, as a man, only like, no, motherfucker, that's you. Because he doesn't listen to shit she says at all. And, like, people can say it, like, I can understand somebody say, like, a lot of guys do that. But the way he does it, it's even noticeable and jarring to other guys. To other dudes, they notice it too. That when she opens her mouth, he instantly jumps in and talks over her. Like, not only does he not listen to her, he doesn't actively like her talking. He doesn't actually want her to voice her opinion or her thoughts. He's like, I got this. I will speak for both of us. And she's like, I can speak for myself. So he just talks over her. He's like, oh no, you can go. And then she starts talking, and he just jumps right in and goes right over her. He doesn't want her to say anything. Because he feels like he can explain it better. And, yeah, that's bullshit. They ask about past relationships, and he says that, he was with a woman that had kids, and he didn't want to be with her because she already had kids. He knew he couldn't love her because she had kids. He didn't want that. He didn't want to be a step parent. So he like, she had kids. I knew I didn't love her. I knew I would never love her. And I knew I didn't want a future with her. I didn't want to be with her. And Rachel was like, okay, well, how long were you with her? He was like, he was with her for 4 years. And I think that took everybody, I was like, what? He knew when he met her. This is what he said. He knew when he met her. He would never love her. He didn't want to be with her. He didn't want anything to do with her. Because she already had kids, and he didn't want to be with a woman that already had kids. So he knew he would never have a family with her. He knew he would never have a future with her. And he was with her for 4 years. He was with her and her kids for 4 years. And the entire 4 years, he never liked them. That's some psychopath shit right there. If you knew day one, this ain't for me, I don't want you, I don't want the kid, I don't want any of this, but I'm going to be here for 4 years, that's some shit a psycho would do. I told y'all Jose was fucked up. And you didn't believe me. Maybe you did. I said there's something off about him. And it is something off about him. Because I don't think this is the worst of it. I think it actually gets worse from here. He had a barbecue at his house. It was not significant at all. He invited all the couples. They asked a question of who would they think would say I love you first. And everybody picked, I think they mostly picked, somebody picked Mirla would say it first. I was like, y'all smoke crack. And I think the majority said Johnny would say it first. Some said Bao. Some said Rachel, Jose. Nobody said Gil. No, somebody did say, nobody said Brett and Ryan. Nobody thought Brett and Ryan would ever say I love you to each other. Everybody else got at least one vote. Nobody voted for Brett and Ryan. Johnny got the most. And I think Jose was second. I can't believe Mirla got one. That was crazy. Somebody actually thought Mirla, I can't think who it was, they thought Mirla was going to say I love you first. I was like, no. She wouldn't be caught dead saying that. Even if it was true. She's never going to say it. That's just how she feels. She's like, I'm not going to express my feelings to you. You need to figure it out how I feel, which is insane. Because all he's figuring out is that you don't like me. You don't want me around. But that was it. That was that show. It revealed more and more cracks in what's going on. Even Marilyn and Gil, who were surprisingly coming together, you see where Gil is kind of running out of patience. He likes her a lot, but the fact that she won't give him an inch is getting on his nerves. She won't give him nothing to go off of. She won't give him a glimmer of hope that she actually likes him. It's like she's trying her hardest to be as strong as possible, as uncompromising, and as stubborn as she can be to frustrate this man to no end to see what he does. And I think he's at a point where he's like, I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to just be here just to be here. And you are actively working against me. Because you don't want to let the cat out of the bag that you might actually like me. That you might kind of be into me. Because they have a lot of intimacy. They're always touching. That's what they said at the barbecue. He was like, there's no kissing. They've never kissed. But there's a lot of intimacy. Like, he touches her, she touches him. They hold hands, they put their arms around each other. They do a lot of stuff. They're just intimate. But he was like, I'm going to need a kiss at some point. And she was like, I'm not going to kiss you. She's like, I don't know you. Which I don't understand. She knows him enough to sit up with her arms around him in his lap. He rubs her feet. He does all this other stuff. But she was like, well, I don't know him enough to kiss him. And he was like, I don't even want sex. He was like, not having sex is fine. He's like, but come on. He's like, I can't get a kiss? No, he's like, I can't get any kind of, like, they don't even hug. So I don't know what's going on with Marilyn and Gil. They're not going to make it. Michaela and Zach are going to kill each other. Brett and Ryan is done. Ryan does not like her. He doesn't want to be with her. And it's sad because she's falling more and more in love with him. Jose and Rachel, I think Jose is going to explode. Because Rachel won't do what he says do. And the cheating thing seems to bother him a lot more. The cheating thing with Rachel was weird because she cheated on a guy when they first got together. And then they were together for 4 years. So did she ever tell him she cheated on him? Or he like just finding out from this show? I don't know. I can't remember. But it bothered Jose. He looked at her from that point on. He was looking at her like she's a cheater, and he said it like, you're a cheater, and I can't trust you. He's like, how can I trust you when I know you cheat? And she was like, well, you can just trust me. I'm not gonna cheat on you. He was like, well, I just can't do that. So that's gonna be her cheating on him. Her not cheating on him. Her cheating, having cheated before, is gonna turn him completely off. And she told him, I love you, and he said it back to her. They did their confessional with that. All of these couples are doomed. Doomed. Because Johnny wants a porn star, and Bao ain't that. And Bao actually might be that, but she won't. She's not open about it. She seems like she might be a freak shit. But for Johnny, because she likes Johnny, like, she had sex, Bao had sex with Johnny purely because she wanted to. She was like, she's thought about that since college. She's wanted him. That was her long time crush. That they drifted apart. And then Married at First Sight brought them back together, and they didn't even know it. She wasn't thinking of him. He wasn't thinking of her. But she was like, oh, I went to college with him. I went to college. We knew each other in college, and I had a crush on him then. Here we are, 15 years later, reconnected through Married at First Sight. She had it with him because she wanted to. Because that was her dream. That was her fantasy. It had shit to do with him. But that's about it. Hey, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And I'll catch y'all on next episode, man. Hey, peace.